joined by Adrian Dodoro on Bomber TV. It's the second day of trade week, our list manager. Adrian, is there anything to update us on today?
No, it's been a quiet day at the office today. It normally is. Second day up. Had a big day yesterday. Obviously all the clubs got together at Etihad Stadium. But normally it dies down a little bit on the second day. Mind you, it's a 3-week process, so I don't think there'll be much happening this week.
Can you just take us through the Angus Monfries deal and how that went down with the free agency process as well?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked because there's been a lot of conjecture as to why we would have traded him for solely a third-round selection. The process was that we obtained Brendan Goddard as a free agent, and we then lost Angus would have lost him as a free agent had he have gone as a free agent, and we would have received no compensation. So we worked with Port Adelaide and decided the best thing to do to get some compensation was to trade Angus. So rather than him going through the free agency process, which would have meant no compensation. So we've ended up with a third-round draft selection. That might seem a little bit light to many people, but it's actually a really good outcome because it meant we got something for him.
We also got done yesterday the Joe Danaher deal under the bidding system, and a bit disappointing you had to give up their first round selection, but no surprise?
No surprise. Look, we had everything crossed that they may have fallen asleep at the wheel, but that didn't happen. And Port Adelaide were the team that came in initially with the bid, but look, they were queuing up after Port to put their hand up. And look, we can't begrudge anyone for putting their hand up for Joey. He's an exceptional talent. Many people say he's probably the number one player in the draft pool had he been a uncompromised sort of draft. So, no, look, great to have him on board finally, and he's going to be a fabulous player for many years.
One guy that seems to have been spoken about yesterday with a few of the clubs is Scott Gumbleton. A few interested in him?
His name was raised quite a bit by a lot of clubs. Our position is quite clear that we think he's a required player. He's got a contract in front of him. I understand he's in Perth at the moment, just weighing up what he wants to do. I'm in regular dialogue with his manager. No one's really come to us right now and put a firm offer to us, but having said that, heard he's made it quite clear that he'd like to keep him here at the club. And look, we've invested a lot of time in Scott. He's number 2 pick in the national draft a number of years ago. He's finally got himself right and he's up and running again, and he'll have a terrific pre-season, and all indications are that he'll have a very good year next year. So it'd be great just to see him on the park for a whole season.
Another one who's in a similar position, has a contract in front of him, is David Hill. What's the latest there?
Same with David. I think David just wants to, he's one of those guys that has a really good think about things, and he's taking his time, obviously. But no, we've been in contact with David regularly as well, and he'll get back to us in the next day or two about what he intends to do, whether he wants to, play on or not. We're hoping that he does. We think he's got a lot of football still ahead of him. He's a very fit man for a 30-year-old. And we saw in the last game against Collingwood that he's still a very capable ruckman. And I think that one of our strengths on our list is that we've got some really good ruck stock. And yeah, it'd be good if he could just sign that contract.
Another few names that have been linked to the club from other clubs are Kobe Stevens, Josh Caddy. Are these the sort of guys we're interested in?
Obviously, if we could obtain another midfield, it'd be good. We got off to a flying start with getting Brendan Goddard in the door. So, look, it's difficult because we don't have an early draft selection to trade. Our second pick's about 32, and with compensation that could go out to 34. So it does knock you out of a lot of deals. And the Josh Caddy one's a case in point where we're just going to be too far out of it in terms of draft selections to offer Gold Coast. So that won't occur. And the other boys, well, we're just weighing it up at the moment. But we're happy to get out of the draft table now if nothing further happens. But as I said, still 2.5 weeks to go and a lot can happen.
As a free agent, would Brett Maloney fall into that same category still?
We've spoken about Brent. I think what happened there was that once Brendan Goddard, we ticked that box, I think that we probably felt that we'd covered that area. But having said that, we'll still weigh up a few things at the moment. So yeah, we'll just wait and see on that one.
You've spoken about a few out of contracts from other clubs and their sort of midfielders. What about guys like, there's Mitch Brown, Lockie Hansen, there's been a few of these names brought up. Jared Rivers, I think, is another one that's looking to get out of Melbourne. Are they sort of guys we'd be looking at? No,
not really. I think our tools are pretty strong. Obviously, we've just got Joe Danaher in the door, and he can add a lot of flexibility. He can play in the ruck in years to come, but initially he'll be a key forward for us. And, you've got, Hurley, Paddy Ryder can play forward and back. Carlisle's developing, Hooker and Pears. So we've got a fair amount of quality stock in the key position. So I don't think they're the type of guys that we're looking at the moment.
Thanks for your time, Adrian. Look forward to a long 3 weeks.
Pleasure. Thank you.